Good.
All right, we are recording now, and I want to welcome everybody to this interview. It's where I am; it's live, but it's going to be pre-recorded for everybody else on YouTube that watches this. I've got on the other end, all the way from Ireland, Mr. Fran, and I'm not sure of your last name, but you are if I'm not mistaken, you're the owner of Vibe Strings.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So what's your last name?
Gaffney.
Gaffney. Okay, Fran Gaffney.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we've had some technical issues and everything, and hopefully that will be solved as we go on and the connectivity gets a little better. But we're going to go ahead and begin this interview. Recently, I contacted Fran about Vibe Strings, and he was kind enough to send me a few packages of these, and I've actually got scheduled very soon, if it's not already happened, a giveaway for a pack of these strings and some picks and everything. And we also have some discounts that are available. And I'm going to turn my fan off before I forget, because if I don't do that, it'll get all hazy and stuff. We also have created a discount page for everyone, but you can only find out what that is by going to bluegrassguitaressentials.com/webisodes and checking out those webisodes. And when you do that, as soon as you download that, it will send you the link to go get the discount code. I think it's right now for half off, and it's a limited time. I don't know how long the discount is, but we talked about maybe having it go on for several months. But so, Fran, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my family origin is from Ireland, but I was born and raised in Argentina. And then I did my university art school. I specialized in, and then I moved over to Ireland back in 2002. And in that period, up to last year, I was working in the corporate world, not really into music. And finally, last year, I decided to do something more related to my affinity. And obviously, I started to research what to do, how to do it, and I thought a string was the thing for me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, actually, it's quite right.
Well, that's good. So you just got into guitar strings because you said you were involved in music somehow?
Yes, actually, I did my fine arts degree in Argentina, and I played guitar since I was small. And I played different bands. I produced a few bands. Then I wrote with my own band. And that was up to 2001, more or less.
Okay.
Then I moved into Ireland, and then.
Okay, so you're originally born in Argentina. That explains the accent. I was expecting an accent of Ireland, and that explains why there's a different accent there. Okay, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
So you just decided the guitar string company is what I'm going to go into and all that then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to do something that was more broad. And I look to work with bands or the artists, but I thought I would do something more for everybody, let's say.
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's good. So we're going to get right into the interview questions here. And the first question I had to write down, and I've already sent Fran these questions ahead of time, and there'll probably be some more off the top of my head. That's the way it goes sometimes. But the first one that really, I got my attention was, why the name Vibe Strings? Where did you come up with that name, and why did you choose that name?
Yeah, Vibe Strings was quite an interesting pick. I didn't have a lot of choices, actually.
A lot of choices, okay.
Because I didn't want to put a fancy name. I don't have a lot of history in terms of crafting thing, but crafting was quite interesting how it came across. But the vibe, I like it because it's not just a good vibe, because like people say, oh, it's a good vibe, it's good things about it, the feel somebody might have. I like it because actually it pretty much, you can imagine all your sense with a vibe. So if you go to a lab and you can see an oscilloscope, I think it's called in English, where you see the image of the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And then the piece that I really most like is when you go to a live show and then you have that feeling in your chest of the two gophers when you feel the music that is coming to you, like these pushy bats or the kick, and this definitely is the sound that's traveling and it's pushing. So you can see it, you can feel the vibe, and like you can not only feel it physically, you can feel it like perhaps in a good connection with people.
Okay.
So I thought I represented a lot of things, not just not the vibration of what the speaker does.
Okay. That's very interesting. I was actually thinking of, like you said, you can, the vibe of things kind of used as a phrase. But I was also thinking it was pretty cool because that's what guitar strings do. When you pick on them, they vibrate. But I never really saw it. I never really saw it as the whole expanse of, vibration is just everywhere, when you think about it. So that's very interesting. Yeah. So that definitely stands out amongst other guitar string companies. Okay, and like I said, we apologize for the technical issues to everyone watching later on down the road. So because where Fran is, he was saying that the internet connection isn't the best. A lot of people during this time right now, it's 20 minutes till 3 p.m. and where he's at, it's like almost 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. So he's 5 hours ahead of me. So he said that everybody gets online and plays their games and all this stuff around this time of evening. So that might be affecting it. But we're going to roll right on with this. Just so let's get on the next question, which is why are Vibe strings only available on Amazon? And do you plan to release them in through another venue sometime?
Well, yes. Amazon is it's not just the quality of the strings that we're looking for. It's also what is the experience of how the strings get to you or the player, mm-hmm. and all the afterwards, meaning the customer service, the return, the replacements eventually if there is an issue, and overall is an environment of trust. So when you go into Amazon, definitely to get into Amazon is not easy at all.
Yeah, and
there is a lot of checks, let's say, in quality, what you're providing. Amazon is scrutinizing the sellers all the time. So, and there are controls of what the people say about your product. The thing that I like most is that people can connect with Amazon without me knowing.
Okay.
So that means actually, if I'm doing something wrong, it's not that I can fix because somebody told me. It's Amazon that is monitoring what I'm doing. So in that way, I cannot cheat anybody. So it is 100% genuine and honest what we are saying that is in Amazon. And we have a kind of environment that makes sure that we deliver that.
Okay, that's very interesting. And one of the things I really like about Amazon is just about everybody. I would think that everybody in the world goes to Amazon for high quality reviews of products. Before I do every time I buy a product, I always go to Amazon, look it up, and see what the customer reviews are, and see what the percentage are, how many stars it has, and that's a really good way to kind of screen what you're buying before you buy it.
Yeah, and that is something that actually actually this week, what we started to do is just to reconnect again with the people that is to make sure that actually they share their experience.
Mm-hmm.
So what they think about the streams, if something that they want to fix it or they would like to see. Actually, you gave us already amazing feedback of the things that you would like to see in terms of the gauge, mm-hmm. and the coating, and particularly for bluegrass players. So all these are the things that we like to know from the people that actually is using the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to guesstimate what the people are going to play or what like to play. I want to work with my team to manufacture what the people is looking for.
Yeah, so that's definitely shows that it's, you know, I can definitely tell that you are definitely quality oriented, and you care not only about the customers. I mean not only about the product, but about the customers as well. You want them to like the string, obviously, you know. So we've lost Fran right now. He's going to try to reconnect. I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and we'll get him back in just a second. Okay, we've got Fran back, and it was something happened and just kicked him off or something. But anyway, so we were talking about, you know, how the quality of the strings, and how it's important that the customer receives, or the customer likes the product and everything. And you can tell that Fran has definitely got some. He definitely pays attention to the feedback, and that's important. I know right now on Amazon they've got several 5-star reviews. A lot of people, just about everybody that's played them, like them. I mean, myself personally, I like them too. And he was talking about the coding, and I think that's coming up later, a question about that. So we'll keep going down the line here, so I don't get ahead of myself. So I was going to ask you a question here, and it's got all kinds of information on the packaging itself about the company. One of them says that it's 40 years proudly dedicated to string making. And so the question I have is that the packaging says that Vibe strings have been around for 40 years, unless I'm misunderstanding that. But I've only recently heard of them. Is it because they were known or owned by a previous name or string company, or you get your strings from a quality manufacturer of strings that's been around for 40 years? So where does that claim come from?
Yeah. My apologies if the phrase doesn't come across of what that 40 years. Definitely is the last I mentioned. When in research how to build a quality product, I think a natural thing is go to China and because it's mass production, it's cheap. But I didn't have the feeling that actually will be a quality that would be sustainable in time.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not for me. It's a no-go, because definitely if I promise something, if I can deliver to you in person, I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I want to make sure that actually what I'm promising is delivered. And so then I say, okay, I'm going to work with a group of people that actually really have the experience, the machines, and the engineering capability of crafting something that is durable, and what is promised is the. And I'm researching in the UK, I research in Germany, I research here in Ireland. And finally came across somebody in New York that actually they've been working for years and years and years. Himself and 50 in crafting script.
Okay.
And these guys are, I don't know, Wikipedia of knowledge in terms of how to do a string. And so that's why we say, okay, you have the capacity to craft wonderful strings, deliver the quality, small batches that pay attention to all the details. So we are not mass producing thousands of strings per day. So it's pretty much that we have a very small stock to make sure that they are always fresh.
Okay.
And I said I can work with the other side, which is pretty much make sure that the people see this quality. And so then we created this channel in Amazon and the branding, etc.
Okay.
Hope that explains what that means in 40 years of experience. It's real a group of people, and that's what it says made in the US, because they're made in the USA. Yeah. They're not imported anywhere. All the material, the machinery, the engineering, the packaging, everything is done in the US.
Yeah, I was just noticing that up here on the top. It says made in the USA right there, which is interesting because you're in Ireland. That's what is really neat, is that you're in a whole other country away, but you can produce things for Americans and for the world, really, that says quality, made in the USA. I mean, so that's pretty interesting. And you mentioned something else I was going to talk about is that I have heard, and I thought this was really neat that you can do this, and that is making small quantities of the strings so that they're always fresh, and you don't have lines of them sitting on shelves anywhere. Are they kind of made to order, or do you just order just enough to get the shipments out quick so that they don't sit and stale?
Yeah, and also on the paper that is wrapped. I don't know if you think the wrapping paper is a special paper that actually allows it to take the moisture of the environment, but don't corrode.
Okay.
So it's everything inside the pack is thinking that I should get the strings as fresh as you can.
Okay.
And one of the setback of this is actually I have to check every day the inventory to make sure that I have enough deliver while we are making the next small batch.
Okay.
So we don't produce like 1,000 per day. So it's just to make sure that I don't know if somebody come across it. I remember when I was playing guitar, particularly acoustic. I have an electroacoustic at the time, and sometimes I open the bag and was a little bits of corrosion, like a rust. I don't know if somebody found something like this before. I really don't like it. That kind of thing. I just to make sure that actually, perhaps it's my particular taste, but actually sometimes even if it's vacuum sealed, you can find this kind of little touches of corrosion and I don't know, it's just a personal taste, but I don't want to deliver something like somebody will say back, oh, this is positive.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, everything about it says quality. I mean, even the plastic packaging is very nice. I mean, that little sleeve that it's kept in, not many string companies do that. So I just want to clarify, on the 40 years of string making, does it mean 40 years combined experience? Is that what you were kind of referring to? Because I wasn't exactly clear on that.
Oh, sorry. We have Greg. Greg been working in the industry for 20 years.
Okay.
And then we have two other engineers that combined between the three of them make the 40 years.
Okay, well that's good enough for me. I mean, people that know what they're doing is good enough for me, So, very interesting stuff on here. So, let's see here. I've got another question on here. We're just running down the line here. I don't know if these are on here, but I like where it says, you got the replacement guarantee. Is that also through Amazon? You may be frozen again. Oh, there you go. Here he comes. He comes back on here. Okay, so I don't know what's happening.
Sorry.
We're still recording though, so that's good. The question was the replacement guarantee. Is that through Amazon? Is that where you? Okay.
Yes. If you have any actually, we had a few problems with people that actually say, "Oh, for example, somebody was stringing the guitar and snapped a knee snapped or something like that at the very moment that they were started to restring the guitar." And without a question, I replace that string straight away. So yes. I send it 100% for free. We notice when somebody genuinely is coming back saying, "Hey guys, this is not working," it snaps straight away, and it happens because the material is not consistent all the time. Sometimes you have a little micro difference that when you're cleaning it snaps. And I want everyone that buy a string from buy have the best experience possible, and part of that best experience is to say, "Oh, I bought something, it's not working. I'm not going to steal one string. I'm going to steal the full pack again."
Okay, well, that's good. The other thing is, and I think it's very neat to interact with somebody within the string business and kind of see behind the scenes a little bit. The packaging in the front says that there's two things: 17% better sustain and 3.5 times longer lasting. Now, how do you get those statistics? Do you base that on like playing other string companies' strings and kind of doing the little metrics and all this stuff, or how do you come up with those numbers?
Yeah, the numbers came from testing labs. So we prepared with standard batch. Let's say we haven't gone through. Sometimes the funny thing is actually they give you wonderful stats, but they prepare the model for the testing.
Okay.
So quite 17 is a weird number. It's not something that you would say like a nice marketing number.
Yeah.
Like 20%, 25%, or 15%. And it came out that actually while in tension tests, where you stretch the string and the core of the string,
Mm-hmm.
which is the little tip that you see after the winding.
Yeah.
The tension of this string is sustained in average 17% longer.
Okay.
So that's where, and when you're tuning, perhaps the first time you don't really realize, but actually, if that tuning keeps going for longer, it's because this tension is holding.
Okay. So it's not referring.
Perhaps it's a bit technical, but actually but pretty much is the reason why of this thing.
Okay, so it's not referring to the sustain of the string as it vibrates, but the durability of the string then.
Yes.
Okay, so that's stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, it says durable, it's stronger. So, I mean, that's good. And I noticed, and if that's the case, then I think you even said, if I heard you correctly, that that really helps with tuning. It helps keep its tuning.
Well, yes, actually, we tested that in different moisture environments, which is, and actually I didn't test myself. That was tested in the US. A good friend of ours, Bob Harris, tested that in a very humid environment down in New York last summer, and he was quite surprised. Actually, even with the high humidity, which usually humidity is when you start to see that things are going bendy or lose the tension, or you feel that there's a bit dull the sound. These strings kept the tension, kept the tuning, and were able to play three gigs, I think, with the same replacements. So they didn't have to replace every gig.
Okay. Okay.
So that was a good test in real life with a pro musician, you know?
Yeah, in my review that is coming out, I think I am going to go ahead and almost pretty much immediately post this video when we're done. But in my review that comes out next Thursday of the Vibe Strings, where I'll do the giveaway and all that, I even mentioned that I haven't had hardly any problems with the string staying in tune when I pick up my guitar from, session to session. So that's good.
Yeah.
And that's definitely, especially when you're playing live, you don't have to sit there wasting time fiddling with the tuning pegs and getting everything to work right.
Yeah.
I mean, they stayed in tune pretty good. So that's pretty cool. Let's go on down the line here and continue with the questions here. So I actually had this question, how did people order your strings before Amazon came along? But that was because I thought that the string company had been around for 40 years and it had just been taken over. This is brand new before it even hit Amazon, right? There was no way to order it before Amazon.
You're 100% correct.
Okay. So how long... Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, that actually, when we decided to go live, meaning to sell it to the public, the only channel that we picked was Amazon, because of what I mentioned before.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and even today, here in Ireland, I haven't put the strings over to Europe yet. So because I want to make sure that the quality that we are promising is 100% delivered.
Okay.
So it's not that I'm picking different markets. It's just I want to focus in one place, in one country, and make sure that it's 100% proven that is what it is. Because then you start to diversify into, I have to send it over to Europe, I have to send it over somewhere else. And then you lose the focus of what you want to deliver.
Exactly. And that's one of the big things I stress highly on my channel is as far as business stuff goes is focus. Focus is follow one course until successful is what I've heard focus stands for. And that's, you couldn't have picked a better place to do it really than Amazon. I mean, that's the giant of online retail, even in my opinion above eBay, because eBay is just auction based. Amazon is, retail and all this other stuff, the different stuff. So that's very good. I mean, that's interesting how that worked. Okay, so now we're getting on into the business side of things as far as like what I consider guitarpreneur is the term that I've come up with. Yeah. And it says, what's it like owning and running a guitar string company?
What it's like
what's a day in the life of, or a week in the life of a guitar string company owner?
It's very exciting.
Okay.
It's very exciting because every day is something new. So you have to combine all your, let's say, artistic or good feelings about what you want to do, and then the whole reality of numbers, talk, materials, providers, and shipping, and freight forwarders, all that kind of stuff. And then it's a learning process every day. So, and even with guys, when they are doing the manufacturing, they're telling me things that, and I go and say, I didn't know that, so I had to look into that again and come back to you. And sometimes these kind of things are frustrating because you want to evolve, but you have to do it carefully to make sure that to keep consistency what you're saying all the time and the congruency of the and make the whole thing whole. Because otherwise, and as you said, you lose the focus and then you get it all in the everyday things, and you lose the horizon where you go.
Yeah.
So just focus what you have to do and just keep sight all the time where you want to go.
So is this your first business endeavor? Have you tried other businesses, or that were maybe not like tangible objects, maybe something online? Is this your first endeavor in business world?
No, not really. This is the first one related to music.
Okay.
In terms of producing articles for music, like the strings. Before I produced, I had my band. We were gigging. I went work in the studio also, not as an engineer, but more as a producer side, an artistic side. How it's called is, I don't know how to say it in English, but pretty much I was sourcing the musicians for other artists.
Okay, so you were like a manager?
Pretty much making sure. No, not really a manager. I was really like auditioning for session musicians and making sure that I had the right beat for the record that was in production.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes we were doing a pop album and you want to make sure that the keyboard is poppy keyboardist, and you don't want to bring a jazz player because that definitely is too much for pop music.
Yeah.
So pretty much I had that kind of a little production agency.
Okay.
Sourcing musician for other artists, but actually it was completely different than what I'm doing here now.
Okay. So you've had business background and you kind of know how some things work.
Yeah.
Marketing, different things like that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now we know a day in the life of a guitar string.
Yeah.
Not much different.
But it's completely different because this is online. So I don't even see.
That's true.
That's what the thing that we are sourcing now, what we are doing is probably we are going to start to do something like a callback customer. So we are trying to find a way to call them back and say, hey, hello, we are from BioString. We want to know how you're getting on. It's not that you want to give you feedback for our engineering team.
Yeah.
And how you can share your experience with us. And on other people, maybe in Amazon, if you want. Some people just is a bit reluctant to do that, but anyways, the purpose is to connect with the people. Then I think if you lose that connection, then it's like another brand in the air that you don't know anybody there. You just bike it back and.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have the Facebook, so that's a good way to reach out, and we'll get to that, how to access that at the end of the interview here. The next question, you kind of already answered this, but I'm going to answer it anyway, is how many years have you been an entrepreneur? How many years have you been in business for yourself?
All my life, actually. I think I started when I was 14 years old.
Really?
Yeah. I used to live in a bit, which is a tourist bit. And in winter time, it's empty. There's nothing. And the summertime, it's full. Hotels are full. The lake, all the sailing, the skating, all the kind of stuff. Then there's mountains around, so it's all the trekking paths and that kind of stuff. So everybody have to work in the summer because it's an issue. They don't look really into the quality of the worker, particularly if you are a teenager. They just want you to pick up the glasses or clean something, that kind of stuff. And you have a job for your family, you have your own money.
Okay.
And but actually, compared to other guys of my age, instead of going into the service industry, I just went straight into sales. So I started to sell tickets for the ice rinks. So for skating on ice and that kind of stuff. Even it was the summer, there was a place that they put an ice rink. So, and that was my first job, selling tickets. Oh. And since then, I've been working in sales or something related to sales or marketing.
Okay.
But obviously, my main passion was music. That was my college was in fine arts instead of business.
Yeah. So you never really had that moment where you felt like you had to escape the workplace, escape the corporate, job, factory working or whatever. If you're in sales, then that's you're on kind of commission. You're kind of making your own way as it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Yeah, pretty much you craft what you do.
Exactly.
And again, after all this year, I think that is only reduced to how you focus. That's all.
Okay. There's actually a book that I recommend people get, and you actually have been but talking about the word all the time, and it's called The Power of Focus. Now, you can't see this, YouTube people can't see this, because when they're looking at this, they're seeing me in reverse, because that's the way the program works. Uh-huh. I see myself in reverse for some reason, and I can't flip-flop it to where it's actually the right way. I'll have to send the Appear.in people a comment on that. But anyway, I love this book, and it talks about getting things done by doing things like not really one at a time, but keeping your focus like a laser beam on something. Yeah. I mean, if you take, I've heard this analogy. I've heard the analogy that if you take light, and if you have just like a broad, spectrum, doesn't really do anything. It lights a room, but once you focus that and narrow that light down, it becomes a laser, and then you can hit a target. So
that's perfect. And actually, I'm going to share something with you now. You mentioned that.
Okay.
Sorry. This is my personal diary.
Awesome. Share some of that with me.
I'll show you. I don't know if you can see that.
Mercy. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is 4 days. So one day, other day.
Okay.
A day. I never do more than 8 laser targeted activities in one day. So that laser activities that they have a purpose. which is talking about business. It's how this activity brings me closer to my goal.
Perfect. Yes.
And when it's done, you see, I open another page here. I don't scrap it. I just make a big done. I don't know if you can see this. And then I put it in a fancy color.
Can you pull it back just a little bit? Something like pull it away from the camera. Just there you go. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of washed out a little bit, but yeah, I can see a lot of different marks and everything. Sorry. There you go. Yeah.
Right this way.
Okay. So is this like a monthly planner or a weekly planner, or what is this?
Oh no, that's day to day.
So that's one day.
So tonight I want to pick another page like this. This is, for example, an idea that I have somewhere. I don't know if you can see that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I stick it. I stick it a page in the diary.
Okay.
So I don't miss anything of the ideas or the things. I just keep it always somewhere in the same place. So you see, another page is like this. So this is so tonight after the call, the way that I'm going to do is just say, what are the 8 things? I say 8. I started with 3 on today, but I know that I have to do 8 things tomorrow that will bring me closer to my goals. Okay. So when I work in this things, I pretty much close everything. No phone, no mobile, no Facebook, no Gmail, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I just lock myself just to deliver what I have to do. And then I put a big done. Okay. And then it's scrap it with a color. So and the reason to do that is because when sometimes you have these days that you are like, I don't want to do anything. Yes. While I'm doing this, it's a waste of time. I don't know. I think we have this kind of days that we're going down, and just flick the pages back, and I say, "Whoa, it's amazing all what I've done." Yeah. So I know how I'm treating. Okay, okay. Here you're back. What was you saying now? Yeah. No, I'm just saying that actually that I use also as a constant reminder and congratulations for the achievement. Very cool. You know, like I don't, because if you scratch, it's something like your brain doesn't take into account that you've done that. It's disregarded. Mm-hmm. So I just put a big well done or a great job or something like that and put that bright color. Very, very interesting. I actually went on a hangout recently talking about business journals, and I've got my own that I'm fixing to switch. This is just a regular notebook, and all this is when I have ideas, some of them is, just basic journal entries like what is going on in my life right now. Like this right here, I put this right on the back of one of my courses. I actually mapped it out how I was going to do the sales from it. And then I paperclipped the actual DVD when it was created to let me know that it was accomplished. And then, if I have... That's a perfect reminder to your brain. Yeah. And if I have, like, ideas for, different things, I do mind maps and things. I love mind maps. So. Mind maps, yeah. But, this is full of that, and I'm trying to get through it because I've got, like, this much left because I've got a new business journal I was going to use, and it's a smaller one. But I'm the same way. I've actually got my weekly planner in front of me, and I have been overwhelmed lately, with all the stuff because, there's a lot of stuff that we do in life that's very trivial and very, busy work that doesn't get us closer to our goals. That doesn't really help us achieve what's out there. And we do that to keep ourselves from doing the work in one sense because we dread it, and that's going to take a big, chunk of my life, a chunk of my time, so I don't really want to get to it right now. So I just slide it over here to this section, and we never seem to get to it. We think, well, I've accomplished a lot today, but you look back, and all it was busy work, Yeah. So that's very inspirational. I mean, I'd like to see that. Maybe you could do a screenshot of that or scan a shot of that and send it to me via email or something. That'd be interesting to see how you do that. Yeah, I no problem at all.
Yeah.
It's very that you said something very true there. So while you do your own projects, like a new course or whatever thing you're doing for in terms of app sales or customer service, you still have a life. So
Yeah.
you can ignore it. Like and some people, I know people that actually they are working 16 hours per day, like double shift if you work in the corporate world. And because I believe it's because they are not focused. They are spreading too many things and they are overwhelmed, perhaps because they need to do everything today.
Yeah.
While you can focus on one thing, finish that thing, and move to the next one.
Exactly, for sure. Yeah, I'm. It's easy to think, well, I got to get this done, but
Yeah.
the bad thing about that is you're focusing on just one day. You know, if you plan your week out and you can maybe shift things around later in the week, kind of like what I do.
Yeah.
You know, I use Google Calendar, but I mean, if something I don't get done today, I can always move it to the next day, and then eventually it gets accomplished. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Actually, that was a thing that was mentioned. I planned the big milestone for the year in Google Calendar. So I have a reminder what would be next week, the following week, the next month.
Yeah.
So then I have it kind of, I don't lose sight where I'm going.
Yeah. That was actually one of my next questions was what are some tips for time management? Because this year one of my big goals is to conquer time management. I mean, to just master it because I've picked up every book on the subject I can find. I've picked up, things on the internet, and I've done my best to manage my time better and, let go of things that don't really matter. That's one of the hardest things to do is just let go of that trivial stuff, and focus on what's important. Yeah. But that's very, really, really good stuff about your business. I mean, your diary. And so,
and in terms of time management, I just block 1 hour and a half. For me, lately, the most efficient time is 7:30 in the morning. Other people like the evening, or it depends. You pick the best what is more comfortable for yourself. And I just block that hour and a half that I know that is making the whole day for me. And the rest, my wife and I, we bought a whiteboard. So I have a few whiteboards. Yes. I have a big one in the kitchen, for example. So I know all the activities of the week of my children.
Yeah, buddy.
Exactly.
Very, very handy tools, aren't they?
Definitely, and this is something that where you have a visual aid, where you are standing in the week and in the day. So you don't miss anything. Lately I started to cook like coffee, and before I say, that would be impossible. I could take an hour and a half to make a meal. I don't have that time, but now I have it because knowing what I have to do and what time I'm allocating to that, I'm just focusing on that and being on the moment. So I think that some people are dedicating the time to do something, but they are thinking something else.
Yeah.
So then they don't properly do what they are doing, and they are not even doing the thing that I'm thinking about. So that's the way that I manage my time. So if I'm going to do this now, for example, with you, I'm 100% with you.
Yeah.
So I'm not thinking that actually I have to do something else, or I would like to watch a program, the telly. Nothing. I'm here with you, and I remember this for my whole life.
Yeah, that's the same way I am with you. I guess I need to be more like this with the rest of the stuff that I do because I'm not thinking about anything else either. I've got my interview questions on this side, which is why I keep looking over, and then I've got you right here, and so this is all focused on one, goal. So very interesting stuff. My viewers are going to love this stuff. So. Now, the next question is, and we've got maybe a couple more, and then we can call it quits. We were about 45 minutes into the interview, and this has just been an amazing experience for me. I really love this stuff. I had one more question.
Here, man.
Yeah, I had one more question regarding time management. I can't remember what it was now. you'd said something that kind of sparked another question. Maybe it'll come to me in a minute. But one of the other ones is in relation to time management. What are some of the productivity hacks and ideas that you've learned being a business owner? In other words, getting more done in less time. Kind of stretching time to that effect.
That's an amazing question.
Thank you.
and I come across these many times every day. And I have a friend that we're supporting each other. Like we have frequent calls, and we kind of oh, look at this is what I find out. This is a better way to do things, and that kind of things. Lately, but I'm saying like 3-4 weeks ago, we discovered something that actually we thought that was a kind of stupid at the moment, but actually is a reality that we live every day.
Okay.
We love to plan, to make the project or to prepare the things, and then when we have to execute, we go back to the plan and rethink the whole thing again. And then pretty much we are spinning our wheels.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do like a month ago was we are going to challenge ourselves to the following. We're going to 1% on thinking, processing,
okay,
and 90% or 99% of activity.
Okay.
But focused activity. And the premise for to do this was we are bouncing each other in the same place as trust the process.
Trust the process. I like that. I like that.
Trust the process.
I am putting that down
because
here.
we said we plan to do something, and then tomorrow we revisit that plan, we change it and we tweak it and we do something else. And then at the end, there's no execution. So that's what we do now. So we plan certain things to do, and even some things are coming across. So we say, we can do this better. I say, no, first we trust the process, we finish this, and then when we review, we can make the next one better. And that's why I'm thinking that your question is amazing. Actually, I'm struggling with this every day.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I want to be able to find the best ways to do things, and that way you have more bang for your buck, so to speak. I mean, you want to do something, and it compounds itself, on the productivity factor. And a lot of people say, well, it's priorities. You got to get your priorities straight, but when it comes to priorities, you got planning involved in that too, and you got to figure out which priorities are priorities and which ones are just busy work and which ones aren't important, which ones aren't urgent, and all this stuff. So I like that. 1% thinking and planning, 99% action.
Yes, sir. That's the way that we are doing now. And believe it or not, in the last month, we came with more productive ideas and execution than before, when we were too much thinking and not much. And because all this thinking and processing is always towards one goal. What brings me closer to my end goal? So what is my end goal on doing this, what I'm doing, is thinking and processing. And how I know that I achieved that goal. So pretty much it's just kind of putting yourself.
Do you want to reconnect us here? Pause it for a second. All right, we're back. I don't know. It must be like you must be laden with all kinds of people surfing the internet right now. So you were saying trusting. You were saying. I've done lost what you were saying.
Trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process.
Yeah,
and process. How it's action execution.
Go through this process, always having in sight what your final objective.
Yes.
So just keep it, decide where you're going, and know, or at least imagine, when you have the certainty that you achieve that.
Yeah, I've heard it said that Stephen Covey, the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, puts it, begin with the end in mind. So
exactly, yes.
You have the blueprint there, and you take tiny steps to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember what I was going to ask you earlier, and that, or not, it wasn't a question, it was a statement, and that was how all this comes with experience. You can't expect to sit down one day and be the best productivity hacker in the world and the best time management in the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of like anything else. You have to start and then fail along the way, and then learn from that, do something different, kind of consolidate all this stuff, and then that's how you get better at it. I mean, I failed, I don't know how many times. My day goes by, and then I've got all this other stuff that I need to do, and so the next day I'm determined to not let it get to me and do that again. Spot on. On that thinking and planning, I've recently decided to do that with my new course coming up. And in the sense that lately I've been proofing the video. I have a video editor edit the video. He'll send it back to me and I'll proof it. Well, what I did was, I've got to go back and create, the neck diagrams for all these things. I've got another guy working on tablature, but I'm doing the neck diagrams myself. Yeah. And what I did was I actually went and created a Google Doc that has the timestamp. In other words, when does this neck diagram occur in the video? When does this neck diagram occur in the video? So each time I can go back to the video and see, well, this one is right here in the video and this one's right here. And it's like a 2.5 hour video or something. And so I went and I diagrammed all that out where everything was. And then I had to go back and rewatch the whole video with the timestamp and then start creating the thing. And I was like, man, I just wasted twice the amount of time. This time, for the next video, I'm going to sit down and as I watch it, create the diagrams.
Yeah.
So
I get you. And that's the way that we learn.
Exactly. I failed in that sense that I wasted that much time, but at the same time, I got it done. So that's, once again, a pat on the back, Yeah. But it gives me experience to work towards in future, work. So that's awesome. Okay, so the last one on this section, and then we'll just wrap this up. What is your process for working towards and achieving goals for your company? Now, your business, not just in your daily life, but how do you work towards your goal, achieving your goals? What's your process like from? You have let's say your next goal is a new version. We talked about the string gauges, maybe switching them up a little bit. What's the process from start to finish? How you begin to work on these things, and
I start from the end. I think that we mentioned something already, like this. When I started with the strings, I said I want to start with something I'm familiar and where I don't have to go beyond my boundaries, let's say. There's something actually I can respond 100%. Mm-hmm. So then, now that I established that, then I can start to go, let's say this is my circle of comfort. Then I go the next, let's say, meter away from it, like a stretching a bit. And then we'll stretch it, and that stretch will be my next circle of comfort. Mm-hmm. And then will be the next one, and then will be the next one, etc., etc. So, creating products is an amazing process, but actually it's very difficult because you are pretty much guessing. Yeah. And the feedback that you gave me the other day with the emails that you sent me earlier, I would never thought in something like that. Perhaps it's my experience in the industry. Perhaps I don't know everything but that's the starting point. That I'm learning in many things while I'm going through. So now what I'm incorporating in what the idea of where I went here. Sorry, that didn't come across very well. From the idea of where I would like to go, then I have to incorporate what you're telling me or your ideas too. I say, okay, before going into electric car, for example, mm-hmm. I say I haven't satisfied acoustic guitar players.
Market, yeah.
Yeah, or market, yes, because the bluegrass players, they will like a particular gauge to play, or they will like coated. And I thought, that, yeah, we're going to launch coated one day. We're going to do, I don't know, nylon strings.
Yeah.
Next, instead of bluegrass strings, particularly for the requirements of a bluegrass player. So that's now is a little bit in a review of which will be the next launch after July, just to make sure that actually we don't go too far in something that actually it holds in the middle, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a learning in how to. You have all these marketing ideas, how to launch a product, but actually the reality when you start.
Would you repeat that? That kind of got lost. The reality is what?
Yeah, the reality when you start to connect with people is different than all the wonderful marketing plans or chart or flows or whatever you want to call it. So now our next productivity activity is towards developing content strings or for particular what we call it stylos, because the bluegrass player have a very particular requirements in terms of the strings that they are playing. Mm-hmm. Now, if you take a jazz player, they have a different requirement. Yeah. I mean, for the nature of or the kind of music they play. Mm-hmm. So now I'm looking into say, okay, so we have acoustic jazz players, we have a pop jazz player, we have bluegrass players, and believe it or not, who sparked that enlightenment, let's say, it was your feedback. So when you told me that, then I said, okay, hold on a second. Instead of developing more things and going too broad without knowing anything, mm-hmm. I get to know the people that actually are playing acoustic first. So the plan in terms of growing and how to develop new products is not towards I have to sell.
Yeah.
What my plan in reality is to create a company or a brand that will go for the next 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
And I don't need to go create 300 varieties of three. It's just listening to the people that play. Mm-hmm. Like that's I thank you. You really opened my eye there to say something I didn't have before. So it was a learning in the past 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That reshaped the whole thing again.
Well, you're welcome. I'm just from personal experience, you know, whenever I notice something like, you know, the gauge of the string or whatever, yeah, I definitely want to help the developer help me. And, you know, get something that I need, you know, created and all that. I mean, there's all kinds of other styles of players, like finger style players. I get questions all the time about strings. Is this a good string for finger style guitar? And I'm like, I'm not sure because I don't play finger style guitar. But, you know, they generally like a more flexible string, you know, a lighter gauge maybe, because they're playing with their hands. But, this just, I mean, we're helping each other in that sense. I give you feedback, you go back and kind of tweak the strings. Or I like how you say, now you're talking again about focus. You're going from broad to narrowing things down. And that's, I mean, you can't get anything done if you don't do that, because you got this thing over here, that thing over there, and it becomes too big. You have to you're seeing the forest instead of the trees now.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times it's opposite.
I believe, but it's something very good, because actually I believe that bars will be a forest one day, but we are putting tree by tree.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so, instead of trying to go massively hitting everywhere, just with trying to get something. I like to do the way slow, but actually more efficient. But rather than efficient is the sensitivity of the player.
Mm-hmm.
Is the person that actually is picking the string and playing them.
Yeah, and another thing that comes with that is just patience. That's another big thing. Not just time management, but you got to realize things take a long time, and it's a process, like you said. It takes a while to get things done. My goal was to get this course released this month on DVD, and right now I'm on like the third video about to release it. So I mean, I'm kind of not really discouraged. It's not a setback. It's a learning process. But I can still see I'm getting things done, even though it's not hitting my target dates. It's still getting it done. I'm doing the best I can with what I have, you know. So I think we're going to wrap this up. The last thing that we have here is a couple questions. One of them is just how to get in touch with you and some different things like that. But I've actually got a section here called In the Works. And we just basically cover this. It's funny how we're getting to these questions before I even ask them. But the other one was, what future products are you planning on rolling out in 2004 and beyond? Like coated strings, electric guitar strings, strings for other instruments like mandolin, banjo, and where do you see Vibe Strings heading from here?
Yeah, I think we went ahead a bit of that question. The idea for 2014 was to go to electric guitars. Mm-hmm. And we had a wonderful plan how to do it. We found a new technology which is freezing the material first to under very 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 cold temperatures, and then bring back to room temperature, and that will give a better how it's called. A better sustainability and tone and tuning and everything. So that was particularly for electric guitar, because with all this bending, when they play and they like to bend the strings too much, that is different when the acoustic play. That is more streaming or speaking. Mm-hmm. So we needed a very very strong chord in the string. And this is what is in order that it freezing the things of the console. True. But then we decided to do a step back like 2 weeks ago when you mentioned that the bluegrass, and then we have a kind of realization. We are going to invest and develop new things when we really haven't satisfied the acoustic people yet. Mm-hmm. So then the goal for this year is perhaps not to launch anything yet, but really start to look in what the people are looking for in. Mm-hmm. And that might look like a step back or a delay in the plans. But in the long run, meaning, as I said before, 10, 20, 30 years next, the foundation will be very, very solid.
Exactly.
And you mentioned patience too. And yes, sometimes I'm very impatient. And I want this done by tomorrow. And even better for today. But I'm not working towards tomorrow or today. I'm working towards a future.
Exactly.
So the things that I've done, but in a way that actually are not the way that we are used to listen, like, do it now, hurry up, it's a limited time, and that kind of stuff. Now, as an owner, you have the luxury, I say, to decide which is the right time to do whatever you have to do. Mm-hmm. And to do it properly, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned one thing that when you said that, I was thinking, that's it. You got to see the long run. You got to see, the big picture, like we was talking about.
Yes.
If you live for today, I mean, we're not promised tomorrow by any means. Don't get me wrong on that. But at the same time, it just, it doesn't get anything accomplished if we don't have a plan to work towards or a goal to work towards. And like you said, it may seem like it's a delay or it's a failure, it's a setback. Once again, it's not. You're taking knowledge that you now have recently acquired, which you didn't have before, and now that changes the ball game.
Exactly. Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And that's pretty much. And I think that flexibility is a luxury that as an owner, or working with a group of people that actually have the same goal, it's amazing because if you're in a corporate world, because my brother is an accountant, and he comes with us all the monthly deadlines or the quarterly deadlines,
Yeah.
or the year ends, and it's crazy. Like they live in a pressure that actually they cannot really develop the things that they are doing. They have to just chase the deadline all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the last thing is a couple things, and I think it's, well, actually the discount link, I'll have that available here in a little bit. Well, actually, I just talked about that at the beginning. And once again, if you forgot, you know, I think this is part 2 or whatever. I didn't think about that. I'm probably going to split this in 2 parts because it's so long. Definitely go to bluegrassguitaressentials.com/webisodes, and you can, actually, the first webisode is free as of right now. You can download that and purchase any successive webisodes, and it will take you straight to the discount link that we have available through that product. And you can also check out Vibe Strings at vibestrings.com. They're on Amazon. And so the last thing I was going to ask, and I always ask this, is what's the best way to reach you? What's your preferred method to reach yourself? I mean, every time I've talked to Fran, he has answered himself. There's not been an assistant or anything. He has answered himself. So this is very cool to work with the actual owner, creator of a company. So what's the best way to reach you, Fran?
Yeah. Facebook is one of them. I have half an hour a day, not fully dedicated, but I have made sure that I personally answer their queries. Because it's just these kind of things that I want to do. It's like to reconnect with the people. I don't want to really stay in something that actually is diluted in a chain of people that actually never reach. So sometimes I have delays because I have other commitment or things. But as I said today, if I'm half an hour online on Facebook, I got half an hour dedicated to the people that is online.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that's tough because I've got, sometimes I get caught up in answering friend requests and answering messages and answering Google Plus messages and notifications, and it's like, man, when can I do this? So I don't get to do that every day. I try to just insert it where I can, within my day. But man, Fran, it's been amazing to talk to you. I hope I haven't kept you up too late. It's probably 10 o'clock or a little bit later after that in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, 20 to 10 now.
Yeah, so we're going to end this conversation, and then I'll just stay on the line with Fran for a little bit and kind of, do a little housekeeping, clean some things up. So thanks, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this 2-part series with Fran. What was the last name again? It slipped my mind.
Gaffney.
Gaffney?
Gaffney, yeah.
Gaffney. Fran Gaffney, the owner and creator of Vibe Strings. We'll see you guys on the next video. Please stay tuned to next Thursday, May 29th, when I'm going to give a pack of these things away and my actual review on the Vibe Strings. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.
Thank you, guys.